Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I've decided to do something a little different and start my first episode of the Wonder Going Otaku Reviews. And what better way to start out my reviews by reviewing an anime I've just finished. This anime is called Bokura ga Ita. It's a shoujo anime, more aimed at a girl audience, but I decided to give it a try anyway, and I was quite pleased with the results. Bokura ga Ita is about a girl named Nana who, like so many other anime protagonists, has just entered high school. It isn't long before she meets this guy. His name is Yano. Yano is known as kind of a carefree guy that every girl, just about, you see, last time I checked, I believe it was about 3/4 of the girls in middle school all had crushes on him, and he seemed to have a taste for older women. No, that's not quite true. But there was one special girl for him who was a bit older than he was. And, well, she was very interesting, but she dies. Yeah, before the story even starts, she's dead. Don't worry, that's not a spoiler at all. We find out about that in, like, the second episode.
Well, as luck would have it, there's another girl in the class who apparently knew Yano. Well, she's pretty helpful. She says that she hates him. Yes, that's all. She says she hates him. Well, I guess it might have something to do with the fact that she is the younger sister of Yano's old girlfriend who, as I mentioned before, died. And she apparently doesn't like him for that, and kind of blames him for her death. But I can't really give too much away, because it just plays so much of a much bigger role later on. I just can't spoil it. And I guess when it comes to story, I really can't say anymore, because this is one of those anime where there's no such thing as a filler. You need to watch every episode to understand it, and that's just what's so great about it. If you need to remember what a character was doing in, say, episode 7. If you're in episode 9 or even 11, it can make a difference. You really can't miss out on anything. There are often a lot of flashbacks. Characters remember what other characters said in previous episodes, and all sorts of stuff happens that you really can't miss. You've got to watch every episode. Well, here's an idea I stole from the formal anime reviewer. This is the part where I talk about the characters. And while I already mentioned her, I suppose I should go into a little more detail about Nana. Oh, Nana. Let's face it, that looks cute. In fact, just about any character that has a line except for maybe the sister of Yano's dead girlfriend, who I should point out, by the way, is named Yamamoto. Yes, just about every character who ever speaks a line calls her cute at least one point. And now I'm getting off point. I guess I should talk about her personality. Such a wonderful, realistic character she was. Wow, that sounded awkward. But like I already said, this is a very realistic story, very emotional, so therefore they need to have a character who was very realistic and emotional. Nana she's a very caring person. And then there's this guy, Yano. Yeah, I think you can tell from this picture that he's kind of tough, I've already said carefree, I'm not going to use that word again. Hopefully I'm not going to use this image again, I've used it twice already. But anyway, Yano. Well, first of all, some of you might mistake him for being, no other word for it, a jerk. And actually, he does retain some of this jerkiness throughout the series, I have to admit. But I think that's just one of the things about him which makes him such an intriguing character. The fact that he's flawed, and also the fact that he has no problems admitting it. He even admits to his best friend that he wishes he could be as nice as him. He has been kind of mourning for a while because his girlfriend died. Then we've got Takeuchi. Takeuchi was the friend I mentioned earlier that Yano said that he wished he could be as nice as, and he was a very nice guy. I mean, very nice. I mean, he, throughout the series, he always had, feelings for, Nana, which is, it's obvious through the whole thing, so that's not much of a spoiler either. And basically, he had several opportunities throughout the series to basically steal her away from Yano, but he never does that because he's just such a nice guy. And yeah, he's a nice guy, and I think he was basically one of the few people that Yano actually felt comfortable talking to about his problems. Then we got this girl here. Her name is Yuri Yamamoto, and she's the sister of Yano's dead girlfriend. In her first appearance, she says that she hates Yano, and she kind of blames him for the death of her sister, which makes more sense a little later, but I'm getting ahead of myself. At first, she might give off the impression that she's gonna be your emotionless girl of the series, like Rei Ayanami, Yuki Nagato, you know, all those characters from anime that I've never seen and I really need to see sometime because everyone else has seen them. Oh man, I'm so messed up. But at first she gives off the impression that she's one of those, but she gives off hidden depth. Admittedly though, I never really liked her all that much. I guess it's because there was just more they could have done with her character, and they just didn't do it. And she only really plays that much of a role, a really important role in later episodes, and even then I think they could have done more. And also, I just thought she was a little too much like, it's almost like they were trying to get her to be an emotionless girl, but failed, and just ended up making her just not using her enough. And when it comes to other characters, there really aren't that many other characters. There were Nana's two friends. I forget their names, but they were great. But they didn't really play much of a role in the story, but they did give Nana advice at some parts. And also, every couple episodes they'd have their little segment in the middle called "We Were There Too," which is what Bokura ga ita translates to. We were there. So basically, it was Bokura ga ita too, which was always quite hilarious. Sometimes it would come in the middle of a more serious episode, so it would give some much-needed comedy to one of those. Now, that's just about it for characters. I guess this is the part where I should talk about animation and music. Well, when it comes to art, this is one of actually the most beautifully animated shows I've ever seen. It's quite different from what you usually see. I guess it's because it was based on a shoujo manga with a particular kind of art style, but I love how they put that into the anime. It really made the characters look different, and it gave it a bit of individuality. When it comes to music, well, you heard that song in the beginning. That was my cover of the opening called Kimi Dake wo. And that's just an example of how great the music was at times. Just like every couple episodes, the ending theme would change, so it's one of those anime like, I believe High School of the Dead does that, and I really want to see that one. But, yeah, every couple episodes, the ending song changed, so it seemed to depend on the mood of the episode. Like, if it was a more serious episode, then they'd have a softer song, and then for maybe more upbeat episodes, they'd have my personal favorite, Aishiteru, I believe it was called, which I loved.
I guess because it sounded like They Might Be Giants. I love They Might Be Giants. They Might Be Giants are awesome. They Might Be Giants.
All in all, I give this 1 season, 26 episode of anime 4.5 stars out of 5. My only real complaint being Yuri Yamamoto.
Now it's time to introduce a new segment. This time, it's called C.K. Dexter Haven's Death Note.
This is the part of the show where I write down the screen name of a commenter who put up a really mean or stupid comment on something like Flickr and Teen Ink. Well, this is personal because this is a comment on one of my things.
I put up a review on Teen Ink for Death Note because, yeah, that's what I do. And someone commented on it and called it demonic. Judging from that, they're probably a really right-wing Catholic or something along those lines. Well, I believe in freedom of religion. That I'm absolutely fine with people believing in what they want to believe. But if someone uses their religion to bash something like Death Note, that is when I won't take it anymore. So this week's victim
is Mikey 2.0. And that concludes this week's episode. Goodbye, everyone!